Hello and welcome to another AVIDEngage video. My name is Marita, I'm the Victorian Community Development Officer with AVID, and today I'm joined again by Andrea Lucena-Orr from Dulux. With the colour trends that you have seen, where do you think we're heading?
So when we look at colour forecasts on an annual basis, every year is an evolution, if you like. So it's not like fashion, women's fashion in particular, that changes on a seasonal basis. With interior trends, they tend to go more on an evolution. So this green might be more yellow green this year, but it might turn more sort of more towards the blue this year or something like that. So you'll get those slight nuances between colour that shift ever so slightly every year. You might still get one or two colours that come in as a newbie, but often it's evolutionary. But if you see it over 5 years, that's where you start to see those really quite strong differences in colour.
Sure. When we're looking at painting with whites,
yes,
we know that white doesn't necessarily mean white. But what are your favourite whites?
Sure. So to make it really simple, if you think about warm, neutral and cool whites, I think that's always a really great way to start. If we're thinking about a more neutral white, we would look at natural white as our number one white, but also Snowy Mountains Half is a really great neutral white as well. So they sort of sit on the fence, they go with just about anything. So even if you've got greys but you're trying to over to these browner hues, if you use one of those neutral whites, they will work in both spaces. So it's a sort of good transitional colour. The other thing is warmer whites are more like antique white, you were saying, or whisper white. You know, they have those sort of beautiful, welcoming sort of feel of whites, that slight yellowish undertone sometimes. And of course, on the cooler scale, you've got something like Lexicon Quarter, Lexicon Half, or even white on white. Okay. So that would be in a space, you might use that, you've got a really sort of quite a bright facing northwest living space. Say for example, you still want a white, but you don't want it on the warm side. You know, maybe you sort of counteract that with something like Lexicon, even in full strength, or even white on white. Okay. You know, you probably wouldn't want to go for a really bright white there because with the light as well, it might be too stark.
Too much. And when we're talking neutrals?
Yes. Oh, there's some fabulous neutrals. So just to give you an idea of, like, our trending neutrals are more in the warmer space as well. So we have things like Feather Soft is a really beautiful, slightly warm neutral. We have Tranquil Retreat, which sort of once again is quite neutral. It sits on the fence, can sit with the warm colours, but also transition to the cool. We also have colours like Terrace White, which is a really beautiful soft greige. So it's that beige with that slight grey inference as well. Really nice, very subtle sort of colour. And then we go into the tans and the taupes and all of those sort of beautiful brown undertone sort of colours as well. And
in terms of the different spaces for a bathroom or a kitchen, is there a particular direction you should take?
Sure. I mean, look, I often say for the rooms like bathrooms and kitchens, which are obviously the most expensive rooms in our homes, let's face it, and the hardest ones to change. So the fixtures and fittings are often long, you know, for longevity. So I always try and focus on the fixtures and fittings, and the colour should just blend in with those. And really highlight and hero the finishes and fixtures that you work so hard to make sure that work right in your kitchens and bathrooms. So.
Thanks, Andrea, for joining me once again in our series of videos with Dulux.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
That's great, and you've shared a lot of knowledge with us, so thank you so much. We hope you found some inspiration from our video series, and best wishes on your quest in finding the right colour for you.